Okay, so today's video is about you can be forgiven, but don't use that as an excuse to sin. And I have a story about this. I was at the corner when my coworker's friends comes by. I like him, he's a comedian guy, but he's basically telling me, like, you need to get out more, man, you need to experience life, because I was telling him all this, sort of like my morals, my moral factors and stuff. And he's like, oh man, you gotta get out, you gotta experience life a little bit before you can start judging things, before you can start saying things. And I was like, I can get where you're coming from. But he's like, you need to get out there. You need to get out there. But I was like, also, and I said, well, I believe in God, so like I don't want to go out there and do blah blah blah. He's like, well, you don't think I'm a Christian too? And he's like, you can be forgiven, man. Just do it. And then that got me thinking. And this happened a few weeks ago. I'm just now getting to the video. But he says you can, and it is true. You can be forgiven, but you should not use that as an excuse to sin. So I'd say that most of us sin primarily because we either are ignorant of it, or it's addiction, or we're a slave. You're either a slave to it, you're addicted to it, you just kind of go hand in hand, or you're ignorant of it and you don't realize you're sinning at that moment. Like I said, you can be forgiven, but if you're not ignorant of it and you know you are, why would you choose to do that? I mean, think about it. Do you want to be happy now, have your sort of momentary satisfaction, or do you want to be at peace after life? I'm not trying to push any religion on you, but I'm just saying this is what I believe. Do you want to have your satisfactory moments now, which is this, or do you want to have them later, when you're at peace, when you're in heaven, when you're with all your ancestors, etc., etc.? I mean, to me, I mean, yes, I have things I'm addicted to, like TV and all that. It's addiction, that's sin, because laziness is sin. But you can be forgiven, but don't use that as an excuse to sin or to continue sinning. You should try to limit this down to as much as possible to, let's see, to follow, to live in God's image, to honor God, to follow Jesus' footsteps, to be as close as you can a copy of Jesus and the way he lived in life. And so he didn't sin. So we're obviously all going to sin. It's just going to happen. It's just, we're human. But you need to limit that down as much as you possibly can. So, again, you can be forgiven later, you can repent, etc. But don't use that in this as an excuse to sin. You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna watch TV, watch TV, watch TV. You should say, oh, I'm gonna watch TV. Oh, I know I shouldn't, so I'm not going to. So you don't do that. Do it that one time. Maybe next time you do. But that's like addiction, and you're gonna have your resets, your repeats, until eventually you either completely stop, or hopefully at least you just slow down on it. Instead of just keep consuming and consuming it, you slow down on the sin. Just cut it back as much as you possibly can. and that's the goal here. So that's what this video is about. You can be forgiven, but don't use it as an excuse to continue sinning.